Okay, here we go with homework 4-3 for real. The other 4-3, if you've looked at it, really has to do with 4-4, I believe. But here we go, 4-3. These are the problems you're going to run into. First one, we are talking with a internet research company, have 95 online shoppers. The company recorded the type of purchase they all made, and they're right here. So all 95 of them are recorded right here. It says 3 shoppers from the survey are selected at random, one at a time, without replacement. Keyword right there, without replacement. That means after that first draw, you're only going to be drawing. If they started with 95, you don't put anybody back. Next time, you're only going to have 94 to choose from. And after that, if you're not putting anybody back, you're only going to have 93 to choose from after that. Okay? So that's what you got to think about when you see without replacement. Question is, what is the probability that the first shopper purchased office supplies and the other 2 did not? Okay, so let's just get with the first one. First things first, what is the probability that the first shopper picked office supplies? Well, there are 15 office supplies there, 15 out of the 95. So the probability of that first shopper getting office supplies is 15 out of 95. Okay, now there's only 94 people left to pick from for this next one. And the question is, what is the probability that this next person did not get office supplies? Okay, so that means they're picking something here, here, or here. All right, so if I were to add all those up, that's going to add up to 80. All right, 50, 60, yeah, that's going to add up to 80. So there's 80 possibilities of not getting office supplies. So I got an 80 out of 94 chance of not getting office supplies on that next one. Okay, I got to assume I did that, and then the question now is, what's the probability on the next draw I don't get an office supply either? Well, there's 93 items left. 79 of them are not office supplies. Okay, because you got to assume you picked one in the last one. So this is what I'm going to type into my calculator. Make sure you do that correctly. And then you're going to round your answers to 3 decimal places for your final answer. All right, let's look at the next one. So we have here the 52 cards in a deck. It says, suppose a card is drawn at random from a deck. The card is then shuffled back into the deck. Then a second card is drawn. So you're replacing. So each time I'm drawing here, I'm going to have 52 cards to pick from. Because it says it's put back in the deck each time. So the question is, what is the probability of drawing a red card, then a heart, and then a face card? Okay, so you're going to look at each of those separately, but remember, each time you're going to be drawing from a full deck because you're putting the cards back each time. That's going to be the key. So first question is, how many red cards are there? Well, out of these, they're all the red cards right there. All right, half the deck is red. So out of that 52 card deck, you got a 26 out of 52 chance of getting a red card because there's half the deck's red. You got 26. If you count all those little red cards right there, you get 26. All right, next thing says, what's the probability of getting a heart? Well, here are all the hearts. Okay, there are 13 of them. So you got a 13 out of 52 chance of getting a heart. All right, and then the last question is, what's the probability of getting a face card? Okay, well, here are all the face cards. All right, and there are 12. Is that right? Yeah, there's 12 of them. Yeah, 12 face cards. So you got a 12 out of 52 chance there of getting a face card. So you find each probability separately, multiply them together, round your decimal to 4 decimal places, and type in your answer. Okay, I'm just going to do that for you just to make sure you're getting the right same thing maybe. So I'm coming out with 0.0288 if I round that. So there's about if you were to think about this, if I change that to a percentage, that's approximately 3% chance of happening. Okay, because if I move that decimal a couple of places, 2.8% chance, 2.8988. So about 3% chance. If you want to try to make more sense of this number right here. All right, moving on. I think we got another one. And here we go. Let's check. Let's just read carefully here. You know, this time it says a card is drawn at random from a standard deck. The card is not put back in the deck. And then a second card is drawn from random. And then the card, none of the cards are put back in the deck here. Okay, so we got, again, that's key here. The question is, what is the probability? The first card is a spade. All right, well, so you're starting with 52 cards in the deck. And here are the spades. Should be 13 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 spades. Okay, so now you're going to assume you picked a spade. Now there's only 51 cards in the deck, and the question now is, out of those 51 cards, what's the probability of getting? Drew a spade. Second card is red. Okay, so you took a spade in the last one, but that leaves all these red cards, all 26 of these red cards. So you got a 26 out of those 51 cards are red. So you got a 26 out of 51 chance of getting that. You're not putting it back, so that leaves only 50 cards you're picking from now. And the question is, what's the probability that the third card is a spade? Now, careful, because remember, we're assuming we took a spade. We took one of these 13 here in the first probability, so there are only 12 spades left to pick from. So out of those 50 cards down here, only 12 spades are left. So I would type that in. And when I'm typing this in, I'm just saying 13 divided by 52 times 26 divided by 51 times 12 divided by 50. I'm not putting any parentheses or anything in there. I'm coming up with 0.0306. Okay? It would be the probability that those three things would happen. All right, last problem. So here we go. We got an urn. Contains 8 green, 7 black balls. So we got 15 balls in the urn. 4 balls are randomly drawn from the urn in succession with replacement. So that means each time you're drawing, you're going to have 15 balls to draw from. What is the probability that all 4 balls drawn from the urn are green? All right, so 8 of them are green, so 8 out of 15. You got an 8 out of 15 chance of getting a green ball. And since you're putting the balls back every time, each time you draw, you're going to have that 8 out of 15 chance. You're going to have the same number of green balls in there each time out of those 15. Okay, so you can type that in, or if you want to be sophisticated, you could type that 8 over 15 to the 4th power. Just make sure in that case that you do put in some parentheses, or you could do something like this: 8 to the 4th power divided by 15 to the 4th power. That's what I'm going to do right now. 8 to the, oops, 8 to the 4th power divided by, and I'm coming up with 0.0809 would be the probability I come up with. A little over an 8% chance of that happening. Okay, that's 4-3. If you need help, let me know.